and welcome to the Code Clarity podcast. I'm Jean.
And I'm Rena. And today we're going to talk about the first case that's been published by the PMCPA that's followed the new abridged procedure.
Oh, exciting. So
Hang on there, Jean.
Can you just remind us what the new abridged procedure is?
So this is the fast track procedure that the PMCPA have promised will shorten, the times that is involved with their processing of complaints, which means we'll hear quicker. But it also allows companies to simply accept breaches without going for the full, ding dong of responding and investigating and blah, 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 blah. That was what was promised a long time ago. What actually happened when the code came out was that we see that there's a lot of power that's been placed with the case preparation manager. And people will know from our previous podcasts that you and I probably have a degree of, lack of confidence in some of the CPM abilities and decisions today. Is that fair, Jean?
Yeah, okay. So why has the CPM now got more power in the abridged process than the full process?
Because when a complainant lodges their complaint, the CPM has the ability to decide whether this can follow the abridged procedure or the full procedure. The abridged procedure only applies in very limited circumstances, and there's a list on the PMCPA website. So that's the first thing, they have a lot of power there. The second thing is they have to decide whether they think there's been a breach or not. And
okay.
Just based on previous things that they put through to the panel, I'm not so sure.
Okay, so if they decide there's not been a breach, does that mean that the case is just dismissed?
I mean, who knows? We've got N = 1 as an example. There's nothing in the Constitution that says at this point that if there is no breach, and that's what the CPM thinks, that the case just goes away. It sounds like it follows the full procedure, which is complete nonsense.
Yeah. So what about this case, though? Is there anything we can learn from it?
No, not really. So in this particular case, an employee of CSL Seqirus liked a post, and that post had not only mentioned 2 attributes of CSL's medicine, but also a pack shot of it. So it was a promotional piece, and it was therefore promotion to the public. What's really interesting about the process is, though, the CPM clearly thought there was a breach, and then CSL Seqirus clearly accepted there was a breach. But in order for the abridged procedure to be met, CSL Seqirus need to sign an undertaking that this is not a systemic issue.
Okay, so they do have to have had some sort of investigations. So if there's another one of these ones on the same issue with the same company, does that then become systemic, or do...
I mean, has anyone actually defined what systemic means to a company when they sign this undertaking? There are companies who fall foul of this issue probably every month, and we know who they are, don't we? But how do you, hand on heart, say this is not a systemic issue when we're talking about the personal activity, which you're not monitoring, which you can't monitor, of everyone's social media accounts?
So let's take a positive away. What's the one thing that you would think is something we can learn or move forward with from this?
Well, I think the one thing that we can take away is that the abridged procedure definitely is fast track. It took them from start to finish 67 days. What's really interesting is A, the full procedure average is 67 weeks to complete and publish. And B, the other second interesting point is that it took the appeal board much longer to read the case than it took the panel or than it took the CPM to process the case. So I don't want to get onto a negative because you've asked me for a positive, but those are the 2 positives.
Okay. Thanks, Rena.
Thank you. Bye.